Hello and welcome back to another Thoughts Per Episode, Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Edition. Sorry it's so late. I've had a bit of a week. Well, I haven't really had like an awful terrible week. Anyway, not relevant. But yeah, I'm watching it now. I've seen it now. We're all caught up. So one of the main things I was curious about in this episode was how they were going to show Ichigo's face as he was struggling against the jail he was in, because there was a lot of speculation when the manga chapter came out, because there were the way the lighting was done, and like it was either lighting or it was like sweat or blood stains or something, but his face looked vaguely similar to like the hollow marks on his mask, like his Vastolord hollow mask. So a lot of us were speculating that he would go hollow form here, so I was curious to see if the episode would show this, but no, it didn't. I think that might have just been people reading too much into the shading based on this episode, but I was kind of hoping to see something like that because I thought it would be neat. But yeah, in this episode we see Byakuya getting absolutely bodied by Asnod, I think is the name of that Quincy. We don't really see Byakuya lose in this series. I mean, he technically loses against Ichigo, but it's more of a tie. So it's very interesting for sure to see Byakuya actually lose a fight. It's a whole shonen thing of like, we're going to take a traditionally very strong and powerful character and have him get absolutely destroyed by the enemy to show how strong the enemy is for our protagonist, but it was done in a cool way. It's cool because Byakuya is such a long-standing character. It's not someone they've just, made up and gone, wow, this guy's really strong, and then immediately got him to get defeated or whatever, you know? I think that's something that's cool about this arc in general. These characters are so old at this point, and respected and, like, known to be powerful, and yet we see them get absolutely stomped here in this arc. But of course, to get to the heart of the matter, the grand spectacle of this episode was good old Yamaji. Genyurosei Yamamoto. I butchered the pronunciation of that name. Something which I thought was really sweet and also quite interesting when it popped up in the manga was, this flashback sequence we see of him meeting Sasakibe for the first time and the influence that has on him, and we see how his Bankai is supposed to look and how it's supposed to work as opposed to how the Quincy uses it. And yeah, it doesn't really help with the whole obvious retcon that is Sasakibe's power, because obviously we see Ichigo basically just one-shot him by punching him in the Soul Society arc, and that's pretty much all we ever see happen with that guy. But I mean, it was a nice flashback all the same, and it's interesting to see this older version of Soul Society. I would love to see some sort of prequel story about when Soul Society was less of an established thing and what it was like hundreds or thousands of years ago. It'd be cool. But yeah, they needed to pull out all the stops to make Yamamoto's foray into the fight a epic one, and when he just whips out Ryujin Jaka, his sword, like that, and just immediately one-shots the Quincy, like, yeah, we can one-shot people too. And the fucking soundtrack, the brand new soundtrack they used for that entire sequence was stellar. I love it. It's funny, when that Quincy showed up, I was like, huh, I don't really remember this guy. I wonder why. And then Yamamoto showed up and I went, ah, right, yes. That's why, because he got turned into a skeletal man pretty damn quickly there. And then something I do not remember from the manga, actually I don't remember most of this from the manga, but I'm sure it's in there. Yamamoto fucking blasts off like Superman, but in a wave of fire across Sorete. And I do remember the whole like, oh, like all the captains and vice captains are like, that's right, we should be rallying, we should be taking the fight to the Quincy's, what are we doing? It's like, it's a thing in like warfare fiction, right, when like the general enters the fray and starts fighting with amazing prowess and everyone's like, oh, and suddenly they get like a second wind. That's done very well here, and it was just fucking cool, and I can't wait to see next week's episode. And luckily I took so long to watch this week's episode, but I don't have to wait very long to watch next week's episode even. Thank you very much for watching this one. It was a short one. I mean, these are all pretty short ones. I keep the Bleach ones pretty short, but it was a short one nonetheless. Sorry it was so late. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos in hopefully a more regular fashion. Thank you very much. See you next week.